and you'll notice where the ribs are. You'll feel it. So kind of move the plate around. Get it to be where it's comfortable for you. All right, but making small snips here. This part right here. Let's get that cut. Underneath, what we're looking at here is all these organs that are important. Okay, so cut that side. Let's get this side going here. Now I'm going to start cutting right from the top. So it's going to be a little tough because what you're cutting through is pure muscle. All right, this might be enough. I think we should be all right. Okay, so first thing we want to look for, and I'm just going to open this up. Pins might come loose, that's all right. Just go ahead and make sure they get put back in. All right, so I'm going to get a probe here. First thing we're looking for, okay, right here, you're gonna see this gray looking material right here. This right here, this is the liver, all right? So we see it has three parts, okay? Remember what this liver does is it makes something called bile. And what that bile is going to do is it is going to break down fats in your gut, okay? So this is the liver. Okay, right underneath the liver, you're going to see this little J-shaped thing right here, okay? This is the stomach. And we're going to cut that out later because we want to see what is in that stomach, all right? From there, you're going to see this windy material right here. It's all coiled up. This is the small intestine that we're looking at there. And then at the bottom where it kind of gets a little bit larger down here, that's going to be the large intestine, all right? So we start right at the top. We got the stomach. It seems kind of full, so there might be something in there. The coiled parts, that's the small intestine. Large intestine comes right after it. It's not a lot thicker, right? Just like we talked about in class. Small intestine, it's longer than the large intestine, but it's thinner, it's skinnier, okay? So we get the name large intestine due to its thickness, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll take a look right here. If you lift part of one of the lobes of the liver up, you'll see this little bead thing right here. Looks kind of green, okay? This is the gallbladder. So the liver, it's gonna go ahead and it's gonna make bile to break down fat. Once it makes it, it's going to go ahead and be stored in the gallbladder. And if you touch it, you'll notice that it kind of is a little baggy. Kind of feels like the stomach of the earthworm, where it's kind of like a, just kind of like a bag, right? And it's going to be connected to the small intestine because that's where it's going to release that bile into. It's going to release that bile into the small intestine, all right? So next up, right here at the top, now I'm going to try and move some of this stuff out of here. I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if I can lift it up here. This right here at the top, this is going to be the heart. And I'm going to see if I can remove this extra layer so you guys can see the heart a little bit more clear. So go ahead and make sure you do that. You'll notice that there's going to be this clear membranous material. Go ahead and just do your best to remove it. You can use a scalpel. It might be the easiest to use the scalpel, but I'm going to use the probe just because I don't want to pierce it. I want to keep it intact. All right? But I might lose patience in a second. All right. So there is the heart right there. All right, so go ahead, get a feel for the heart. See what you think, all right? Pretty cool. So I'm gonna see if I can move some things around. Okay, off to the side. You'll notice that there's a ton of liquid still in there. Right here. this baggy thing right here, there's going to be one on the other side. Okay, this is going to be one of the lungs. All right, this is one of the lungs of the frog. Underneath it right here, these are called fatty bodies. Mr. Sin told me to tell you guys that this is shredded cheese, and that's where shredded cheese comes from when you put it on your tacos. It comes from the frogs. That is not true. This is where frogs store fat, all right? So when they eat fat, that's where it's stored. Right here, you'll notice this bean thing kind of right by the fat bodies. This right here, this is called your spleen. And what your spleen does is it holds white blood cells, those things that you use when you need to fight infections, all right? So this right here, you'll notice this big floppy thing, very flexible and bendy. You guys get that right there? Right here. This is the bladder, all right? So this is where the frog is gonna store urinary waste. It's where it's gonna hold urine, all right? We'll go back to the other side. The intestines out. And here's the other lung right there. All right, so that's the other lung right there. Pretty cool. And then one last thing I'm gonna try to get us to do, oh, and we can see down here, if you look close, you'll see some blood vessels down there. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna remove the stomach. Now I'm gonna cut into it, and I wanna see what was in that stomach. All right, so you might have to lift the liver up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You might not be able to cut it. Oh, I was able to cut it, there we go. All right, so you're cutting the small intestine, and then let's see how I wanna do this. I might just use my scalpel to make an incision in the stomach. Let's see what we can get. Is it open? There we go. All right, so let's see what was hanging out in his stomach. Nope. Make another incision. All right. Let's see. Is there anything kind of clear in here? So you can see some remains. I'm not sure what this was. Looks like a bug of some sort. What do you think? Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not sure. This looks like it's some sort of bug that I was working on. Not quite sure there, all right? But from here, go ahead and mess around with the other different parts within here. See if there's anything you can find. This one looks like, okay. So this one's gonna be a female, all right? You see these windy little tubes right here at the bottom. Those are called fallopian tubes. Those help with reproduction. So this is a female, all right? If you can see all the way down here, these yellow stringy things, if you can find those, that means you have a female. All right, so, all right, that's our frog dissection.